Well, as the Chancellor planned his pre-budget report, he considered increasing VAT by 1%, along with other tax rises planned for the future. A Treasury document published yesterday says that VAT will rise to 18.5% in 2011. The government says the document was published by mistake and that the VAT option was rejected. The Conservatives have described it as proof of what they call Labour's secret tax bombshell. So let's join our political editor, Nick Robinson at the Treasury. Here, this is the document that indeed does state that VAT will go up by 1%, and when people looked at it as it was circulated by the government, they thought they'd seen a secret tax rise. The government insists tonight they've seen simply a cock-up. The document that's causing the government such a headache was on a government website. It's an explanatory memo for those who need to understand the detail of the legal order implementing the change to the VAT rate. It spells out the plan for a temporary cut, but then comes the surprise. VAT, it says, will increase to 18.5% in 2011-12. That, of course, is not what the Chancellor said about VAT yesterday in his pre-budget report, when he insisted he was being transparent about all the tax changes needed.
This reduction will come into effect next Monday, December the 1st. It will continue for 13 months before returning to the present level of 17.5% at the beginning of 2010, by which time we expect the recovery to be underway.
Tonight at the Treasury there's consternation that a document that should never have been made public is causing such a political row. However, they're insistent that it's a case of cock-up, not conspiracy.
It's a pure administrative error on the part of the HM Revenue and Customs. For anyone to think that it's anything else is complete scaremongering and opportunism of the worst sort.
This story is a gift, of course, to the Tories, who want to convince voters that more tax rises are on their way, which will affect everyone and not just the rich.
The government's explanation is feeble. They said, the Prime Minister specifically said, no hidden manifesto, everything above board, and yet now we know they are planning a secret tax bombshell, a VAT hike that would hit every single family in our country after the election. That's why the budget didn't add up.
The Liberal Democrats too say that we now know what the next tax rise will look like.
It seems fairly clear that not only did they consider it, amongst other options, but this was very close to being adopted, and I think we can infer from that that if they do need to raise more revenue, either before the election or after it, this will almost certainly be the preferred course.
I've been told that less than a week ago a VAT increase was in the Treasury's plans. Until, that is, the Prime Minister and the Chancellor met to consider budget options. They decided not to go ahead with it, and at the same time to increase national insurance and the top rate of tax. The government insists that those plans for a VAT rise were simply replaced by a tax on incomes instead. The Tories say both were needed to make the government's figures add up, and ministers simply lost their nerve. The Conservatives have studied the budget figures and they say indeed there is a black hole there that would be nicely filled by a 1% VAT rise. Government insiders say this is just what happens in government. There was a real struggle about what to do, whether to raise income taxes or to raise VAT. And although government is sticking to the standard formula of saying there are no plans to increase VAT in future, as all governments always do, friends of Gordon Brown are saying as long as he's in charge, it won't happen. That won't stop his opponents, though, saying that it might well just do that. Nick, thank you very much. Nick Robinson there, our political editor.